Have you ever heard a Korean woman say she feels like she is already too old and she is only 32? If you have, you are not alone. This is one of the most painful and confusing things happening in South Korean society right now, and it deserves a real, honest conversation. So let's talk about it. No sugarcoating, no beating around the bush. In South Korea, there is a deeply rooted belief, passed down through generations, that a woman's value is closely tied to her age and her ability to get married. Not her education, not her career, not her personality, her age. And not just any age, a very specific, very narrow window that society has quietly decided is acceptable. That window, according to many traditional Korean families and social circles, is roughly between 25 and 29. Once a woman crosses 30, something strange happens. People start looking at her differently. Her own family might start making comments at dinner. Relatives might whisper at family gatherings. Even strangers feel entitled to ask, "Why aren't you married yet?" As if being unmarried at 30 is a personal failure that needs to be explained and justified. This pressure does not come out of nowhere. Korean society has historically placed enormous importance on marriage as a life milestone, not just for women, but the burden has always been heavier on them. In traditional Korean thinking, a woman's primary role was to become a wife and a mother. Everything else, her dreams, her goals, her individuality, was supposed to come second, if considered at all. While South Korea has modernized at an incredible speed and is now one of the most technologically advanced countries in the world, some of these old mindsets have refused to disappear. They have just gotten quieter, more passive-aggressive, more subtle, but they are still very much there. Here is where the term expiry date comes in. The idea that a woman, like a carton of milk or a packet of instant noodles, has an expiry date, a point after which she is considered no longer fresh, no longer desirable, no longer at her best. This is not just an informal joke. Many Korean women have grown up hearing this language, either directly or indirectly. It gets baked into their thinking from a young age. They see it in dramas where the female lead is always in her mid to late 20s desperately searching for a husband. They hear it from parents who start asking about marriage the moment their daughter turns 26. They feel it in the quiet panic that builds as their 30th birthday approaches, even if their life is actually going well by any reasonable standard. And here's what makes this so deeply unfair. Let's call it what it is. This same standard is almost never applied to men. A Korean man in his mid-30s is often seen as stable, financially established, and ready to settle down in his prime. But a Korean woman in her mid-30s is sometimes treated like she has missed the boat entirely. That double standard is not accidental. It is a product of a system that was never designed to value women equally. So, what actually happens to women who grow up absorbing this message? The damage is real, and it runs deep. Many Korean women in their early 30s report feeling suffocating pressure even when everything else in their life is fine. They might have a stable job, a nice apartment, close friends, and genuine happiness, but the moment someone asks why they are not married, all of that can suddenly feel meaningless. That question carries enormous weight in Korean culture. It is not just a question. It is a judgment. It is society telling you that no matter what else you have achieved, you have failed the most important test. This pressure leads women to make decisions they might not otherwise make. Some rush into relationships that do not feel right because the fear of being expired outweighs the discomfort of settling. Some stay in bad relationships far longer than they should because leaving means re-entering the dating world as a woman in her 30s, which feels terrifying in a culture that treats that as a liability. Some withdraw entirely, feeling hopeless and invisible. And some develop genuine anxiety and depression from carrying this pressure for years without relief. Perhaps the most dangerous consequence is how this pressure makes women vulnerable to the wrong people, vulnerable to manipulation. When a person feels like they are running out of time, they become easier to take advantage of. And there are people who are very good at spotting that vulnerability and exploiting it. We will talk more about that in future videos in this series. But for now, the key point is this. The expiry date mentality does not just hurt women emotionally. It actively places them in situations where they can be controlled, used, and dismissed. It is also worth asking, who benefits from the system? Whenever a social system consistently disadvantages one group, it is worth asking who gains from keeping it in place. The honest answer is that a culture telling women they are running out of time tends to benefit men who want compliant, desperate partners. It benefits families who want to check a cultural box without thinking about whether their daughter is genuinely happy. And it benefits a social structure that has never been particularly interested in women's independence or personal fulfillment. What is hopeful, and there is reason to be hopeful, is that more and more Korean women are pushing back. South Korea's birth rate has plummeted to historic lows. More women are choosing to stay single, not because they cannot find a partner, but because they have decided that the terms being offered are not acceptable. Movements like the 4B movement, which we will cover in a separate video, are gaining traction, with women opting out of marriage, dating, and even having children as a form of protest against a system they find oppressive. These women are not giving up. They are refusing. And there is a big difference between those two things. But we have to be realistic. Not every Korean woman has the emotional support, the financial independence, or the community around her to make those bold choices. Many are still living under the weight of family expectations and social pressure every single day. Many still feel the quiet shame of being single at 30. Many are still fighting the voice in their own head, the one placed there by years of cultural messaging that tells them they are running out of time. That voice does not go away just because you logically understand that it is wrong. Healing from internalized pressure takes time, support, and a community that tells you a different story. If you are a Korean woman watching this, or if you know one, please hear this clearly. Your value does not decrease with age. A system that tells you otherwise was built by people who had something to gain from your insecurity. You are not expired. You are not past your prime. You are a whole person with worth that has nothing to do with a wedding ring or a biological clock. And if the people around you cannot see that, the problem is not you. It is the lens they are choosing to look through. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for Japanese and Korean language learning content, fun ESL class stories, plus videos about pets, plants, and anything interesting I discover in my daily life.